Hey, good morning, Susquehanna. I guess that's an assumption on my part that you're going to be listening to this in the morning. But this is SCHS Works podcast. We are in season 1. This is episode 7, and I am excited. I'm excited because here we are sitting the first week of January, and I have a special guest, Mrs. Joanna Soden. Mrs. Soden, how are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, absolutely. You were so enthusiastic when I reached out, and you're willing to jump right on this. I just want to say I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's something I feel strongly about, and I guess the audience will find out what we're talking about in a few minutes. But
Yeah. So let's give a little highlight of what this episode is going to be about. We're going to be talking about coaches versus cancer. That's the main meat and potatoes of this episode. But before we get into that, I want to talk about the archery club for a moment right now. A couple episodes back, we were discussing what activities were available for students in our school during the winter months, and we talked about the archery club. And I walked into the studio this morning, and we had some big news. And that was that one of our students, Madison Watt, she shot a perfect 50 on one of her ends. Now, for those of you that aren't in tune with the archery club and the competition, at 10 meters, you shoot 5 arrows at the target. And she scored a perfect score on one of those sets last night. So, hey, that is absolutely awesome. I couldn't think of an accomplishment like that happening to a better kid. Super proud, and just really want to push it out there that Archery Club, they are alive and they are well, and they're flinging arrows. Every now and then we get one that's a little wayward and it like ricochets through the ceiling, and you hear it in that middle school hallway. But good things are happening with Archery Club. I actually asked Madison this morning, I said, hey, would you give me some lessons? And she flat out said, nope. So I don't know if it was because she thought I was going to be a horrible student, or if she just wants to focus in on her craft. But shout out to Madison Watt. Guys, if you're listening and you see her, congratulate her on those 5 bullseyes. That's impressive. So hey, Mrs. Soden, let's talk about Coaches versus Cancer. First of all, what the heck is Coaches versus Cancer?
Coaches versus Cancer is an event that's put on. It's actually a whole week long. It's backed by the American Cancer Society, and it's during basketball season. And it's actually Coaches versus Cancer, and we call it Suits and Sneakers Week. Okay. So basically, our coaches that are suited up and wearing their suits are wearing their sneakers. All the referees come in with colored whistles, and it's just promoting cancer awareness and raising money for those people who, you have unexpected expenses that come up, and it just, every little bit helps, and just puts it out there. A lot of us have been affected by cancer. A lot of us have had family members affected by cancer, and it's a good way to bring the community together. And
yeah,
we've done a lot in the last couple of years to make it a little bit of a bigger deal.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, your statement that you said, hey, there's been a lot of people that have been impacted by cancer. You obviously would know that, more than anyone. But it's one of those things that we don't know in the future who else may be impacted, and who close to us. So knowing that there are some supports out there, there are some people that care, and you're trying to get the community involved is an awesome thing. So you've got a couple different things planned for this Coaches versus Cancer week. Now, we should probably start with what week is it? All right, so this is coming towards the end of January, correct?
Right. Our kickoff event's going to be January 20th. The actual week is that Monday through Friday of home games.
Yep.
So we do something a little different here. I've been kind of involved with Coaches versus Cancer over the years. My 2 oldest kids were basketball players, so I've kind of been there, done a lot of different things, and over the years been to other schools, and we've pulled and picked a few things from other schools that we've seen happen. So the big thing is the alumni game. We have a kickoff. That's the kickoff. That's January 20th. the alumni come in, they play, we do basket raffles, we have some other little raffles, half court shot, and it just kind of humbles us and brings us back all together as a community and gets the ball rolling per se for
Yeah.
Coaches versus Cancer Week.
Yeah, and that alumni game, that's a fun game to participate in, but then also watch, because obviously we're at all different skill levels, right? Obviously we are at all different ages. You could have somebody that graduated last year who is still, running their really strong 40 time, and then you could have somebody like myself who is pushing 40 and has quickly learned that you slow down once you start to approach 40. And that's all okay for this alumni game, correct?
It's correct. It's fun. It's you see the joking and the laughing and the coming together and then a little bit of seriousness of why we're there.
Right.
And it comes together, and we're still looking for players though. So
yeah. So last count, you were saying you believe at the moment we have roughly 15 gentlemen and 5 ladies signed up for the alumni game.
Roughly. When I spoke to Mr. Tompkins yesterday, he was saying the numbers were a little low this year. So if you're interested in playing, just contact Lawrence Tompkins. Tell him, put me on the roster.
Yeah, and in terms of showing up, like, hey, if you want to show up and you want to play 2 minutes, hey, we can accommodate that. If you want to play the whole game, well, maybe we can't accommodate the whole game, but we can definitely, if you got fresh legs, you're ready to go, that's something, that can happen. But, I personally have not signed up to play yet, partly because, well, the yet is hanging out there because, I will be there, but whether I want to take the risk of pulling a Mr. Sealy and hurting myself,
this is true.
I mean, that's kind of what you're weighing.
Yeah.
You're weighing those. And with 3 little boys running around at home, I can only imagine what my life would be like broken.
But you bring up a big point. If you don't feel you can play, still show up. Show your support. There's the Booster Club will be there doing some concessions. We've got some other little things planned. I feel like the younger kids really enjoy it.
No, absolutely.
They like to see.
Absolutely. Maybe we should get a billboard of the alumni, and we should put it right outside Mr. Parks' home. And it should be a billboard
Right.
of all the alumni at the Coaches versus Cancer alumni game, and just kind of put it out there, some good PR. I'm not sure if Mrs. Parks would enjoy that, but I think that would be good.
She's put up with a lot, so
yeah.
she can handle it.
All right. So January 20th, alumni game kind of kicks off that week, and then the 23rd and 25th are 2 home games. So then we'll have our girls varsity on the 23rd, they are home, and our boys varsity on the 25th, they are home, and that's their Coaches versus Cancer game, so to speak. So if I show up to one of those games, what can I expect to see?
Well, last year we did, we had some speakers and some different things, and so usually between the 2 games, between the JV and the varsity game, we'll do a little recognition to, the survivors and honor. Last year we did a 1 lap around the gym. Normally our players will ahead of time give us a list of maybe who they're playing for, maybe granddad, maybe grandma, maybe an aunt, and just really honor their loved one. And really it's a few minutes, but it's a nice little touch to the actual, again, why we're there. The girls, they usually pick a color sock, and they wear, somebody had breast cancer, they wear pink socks during that game. Somebody had leukemia, they wear the orange socks during that game. And it makes it a little more personal than just picking one color and saying.
Yeah.
Now, we did pick, we had previously done a apparel sale. And we did pick purple this year because purple represents all cancers. And, we want to be all inclusive. We want, recognition needs to be made for all of them. So then we do that little, someone will speak, and then we will invite people from the crowd to come down and do a lap, walk with their player or their family member, and just do 1 lap around the gym and honor the fight that they gave.
Right.
And it's just a really humbling, nice experience. And We will do that at both the girls' game and the boys' game.
Awesome. So I know before you became specifically involved, this is something that the coaches just kind of added to their plate. And they took on Coaches versus Cancer Week, sporting the sneakers. But really, you got involved a couple years ago and said, hey, this is something I'd like to, kind of take under my wing, make as a project of my own. Are you doing this alone? Do you have some help? How does that work?
I have a club during activity days, which, I think that came about a couple years ago. Really, the background was that in January, I was doing my own personal fundraiser, raising awareness for cervical cancer. Mm-hmm. And I would do, just a little Facebook, hey, we're collecting items, we're going to do chemo bags. And I did that for 3 or 4 years, and COVID hit.
Yep.
And chemo bags no longer, the hospitals weren't accepting them, and you couldn't find the products. And so then we did a gift card fundraiser, and we just did gift cards and took care of our community first. If there was somebody that we knew needed a little extra, we gave a gift card, and then took them to a couple of the local oncology offices, and were able to just let them distribute them. And so then I got thinking, Coaches versus Cancers in January. How could I could do this at a wider event, and it doesn't just have to be about the cancer I had. It could be about all cancers. And then I think I just came to you and said, hey, how do you feel about me throwing an activity club together and getting some help? And
yeah,
and it's worked.
I was 100% on board for that. Hey, you mean get our students involved in something like this? Heck yeah, let's do it. And you've kind of run with that. And you've got some students that are there in front of you during our activity club periods, and they're willing to do things. But then I know you have some students that kind of go above and beyond and are a little bit more invested, and that's really cool to see.
It is. It's nice to see that they're learning too at a young age that we do live in a great community, mm-hmm. and we are there for each other. And whether it's school-based, community-based, we've got to learn to do those things.
Right. No, I agree with you. So hey, I'm really looking forward to this week in January. Again, whether I email Mr. Tompkins and say sign me up to play, or if I'm there, rooting is yet to be determined. But is there anything else you want to get out there before we kind of wrap this up?
Not really. Just like I said, if you can't play, just come to one of the events. Just showing your support is, enough. Additionally, we are still looking for basket raffle donations too. So if anybody, just shoot me an email if you want to donate. But last year we had a really, really good turnout, and I'm hoping for even bigger this year.
Ready to go. Awesome. Well, hey, Mrs. Soden, I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to go ahead and release you, let you get back to doing what you do best, and that's working with Mrs. Franks. And I'm going to kind of talk about finishing strong here at the end of the quarter, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. See you. So, hey, Susquehanna. We've got to have a little conversation. And this is probably the first time I've had part of my podcast that wasn't just a conversation. It's just going to be me, and it's going to be me kind of giving my opinions and my beliefs on a couple different situations. And really what that comes down to is the end of quarter 2 is right around the corner. And I think it's tough for students to look at quarter 2. And I think it's tough because it's broken and segmented. We've got a couple different holidays in there that just keep us from getting into a flow. You have, the build up at the end of December to the holiday break where this building is just hopping. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of fun pieces. But at the end of the day, we still are here for the education. And we're sitting here in the first week of January. It is time to put the fun stuff aside and just to buckle down and to say the end of the quarter is almost here. I need to take care of business. And for every student, that's going to look a little bit different. But taking care of business means ensuring that your assignments are getting done on time. And if they're not done on time, ensuring they're getting done as soon as possible. Our student handbook states that teachers cannot take credit for assignments that are turned in after 5 days of being late. And quite honestly, I firmly believe in that, because if it's been 5 school days and you didn't get an assignment made up, let's just face it, there's a whole host of things that have occurred in those 5 days that you have missed out on, that you don't fully understand. Quizzes that have been taken, tests that might have been taken, and you didn't do the prep work. You can't expect to score well on those assessments. So really, we need to focus. We need to focus every single day on getting the assignments that are in front of us done and in on time. Again, here we sit with no snow days yet this year. A couple flood days, but no snow days. All right, our end of the quarter is January 23rd. We have a full week next week, a full week the following week, and that is it for full weeks of school before the end of the quarter. It is here. It's time to buckle down. It's time to ensure that we are taking care of business. And yeah, maybe this is coming across a little bit strong. Maybe this is coming across a little bit like, hey, the only thing that's important is working hard. No, it's not the only thing that's important. But it's one of the things out there that is, at the end of the day, going to lead to less stress in all of our students' lives. Putting yourself in a position at the end of quarter 2 where you feel good about your grades, where you have scored well enough to give yourself a little bit of flexibility should you hit a rough patch in quarter 3, is going to make all the difference. So, students, buckle down. January is a very, very, very short month. Get after it. Take care of business. You don't have much time. Parents, get after focus. Get on there, I would say 2 times a week. Check those courses, all right, to see where your student stands, because again, time is of the essence. I would like to say that every single one of our students will pull up their focus account and show their parents their grades. But I would be lying if I made that statement, because I know we have students who, instead of working hard, sometimes fall into the trap of taking the easy way out. And that easy way out is sending an old Snapchat or screenshot of their grades to their parents where it looks like they're doing well. That has occurred. It continues to occur. So at the end of the day, I know as parents, we want to say that we can trust our kids 100%, but they're kids. They're teenagers. Part of growing up is knowing that they're going to make mistakes. We can't trust them 100%. So do your due diligence. Check the focus account. If you have trouble getting into that account, Roxanne Lloyd in the main office is your contact. But the end of the quarter is here. So, hey, you know what? We need to have a little bit of fun. So, the end of quarter 2, 23rd, we are going to, on January 18th, have our quarter 2 passing grades assembly. So any student that's passing all of their courses, all right, on January 18th, they are going to come down to the gymnasium and we are going to throw a dance. We've got DJ Jeff Kelsey lined up. We're going to have a glow stick dance party. And honestly, I want to see every single 7th to 12th grader there for that. But the catch is, you've got to be passing all of your classes. So, quarter's coming to an end. You want to be at this dance party. Students, let's get after it. Susquehanna, I'm going to get off my high horse. I'm going to step down here and get back to business, but I'm looking forward to the girls' basketball game that's coming out Wednesday night. They are home versus Forest City. I know that Lauren Hike is super excited for this game tonight. I know she's ready because she had a very nutritious breakfast of brisk iced tea. That is something I've learned. She comes into the SNN room every morning to help out, and she always had that brisk iced tea. So, hey, Forsters, look out. She is ready. Susquehanna, we'll see you later.